Hi, welcome to episode 2 of The Food Conversation. I'm your host, Caroline Kimutai, and with me are two special people. One you've already met, Edith, and Dr. Willie Chalo. I'll allow them to introduce themselves. Edith.
Hello, my name is Edith Ombati, a lawyer, public policy specialist at Basson, which is part of WPP Scan Group. This is my second episode today, and I'm looking forward to hearing what lies to debunk all the lies we are going to be told today. And I'm hoping that they can convert me or I can convert them. But the objective is to come to a good middle ground.
Yeah, our viewers of this great episode, Daniel Chalo is my name. I work for the African Agricultural Technology Foundation as an economist who helps people like Edith to understand the numbers behind the technologies that we develop at AATF. So it's a great pleasure. Looking forward to this conversation.
Thanks. So my favorite question is about food, since we are here to talk about food. Dr. Chalo, what are your food memories and some of the things or practices that were passed on to you by your grandparents or your parents? I'll also come back to you, Edith.
Yeah, thank you so much, Caroline. The question you asked takes me many years back to the small village called Kisayani, where I was born and brought up. And one of the fondest moments, not so good though, but it was around 1984, when there was literally no food in the country. There was a very terrible drought. And therefore, I remember, and you know, my father was a real African man. He had 8 of us. And
One wife?
2 wives.
Now that's African.
And I could remember those days when the food was so little. And you know, I was the smallest among all of them. And the moment we got that ugali on that plate, and my siblings would quickly scramble for the food, and I would be left there just watching the plate, you know, simmering and having some smoke. The second one is around cowpea. There used to be times when cowpea was really the only thing on the fields, and you have harvested so much cowpea but no maize. And therefore, you would eat cowpea in the morning, cowpea during lunch, cowpea at dinner. And that brought some really memories in my mind. Today, I don't love cowpea a lot, but I understand the importance of it, and therefore I still eat cowpea, but the memories are so fresh in my mind.
Okay.
Wow.
Edith.
I think this is my second food memory because the first one. Well, I think mine is so different because I've never lived through a drought or anything. But one food memory I have is when we were little, we would go to Kisi. Sasa, you come to Kisi, we don't lack food. See how we look. We would go to Kisi over the holidays, and we would eat all colors of ugali. So brown ugali, white ugali, mixed ugali. You know, there's an ugali you can make from banana. Like banana, you dry the banana, and then you have like ugali. So I'm the expert of ugali. All the ugalis, I've eaten them. So I remember, because we grew up Seventh-day Adventist, we never used to cook on Saturday. So you cook Friday.
Wow.
Saturday, the only thing you're allowed to do is to warm. So can you imagine eating ugali that you cooked yesterday? So that's one of the memories I have. So I'm not a big fan of ugali now. Maybe because of those memories of, you know, eating ugali a lot when I was younger.
Okay. I think mine is around my community, Mursik. I grew up with Mursik as when we visit the village, any house you go into. I'm from Elgeyo Marakwet. We also don't lack food. And you go into any homestead, Mursik. I was horrified to find that some people actually put blood in it.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
Anyway, that's a story for something else.
Another day.
But we are here to talk about a report economists did with his friends. But GMO, what is the vibe online, Edith?
We don't want it. That's the vibe. That's it. Atutaki, we don't want. And you see, even if I appreciate the evidence of the report, which I have actually read, but you see, you can tell us anything. But after we have read that report, I said, wow, how unfortunate. And then after that, I said, I still don't want to eat GMO. So the vibe is like, it's off. The vibe is, why are you forcing us? The vibe is, why is it being so highly pushed? Like, why? Munatupeleka haraka, you're taking us quickly, take us slowly. So that's the vibe. Yeah, but there is now more openness to talking about it. People are willing to have the conversation and to listen without saying wholesale. It's horrible. We still think it's horrible, but now I'm like, okay, tell me more. So I think our generation, we're interested in finding out the information and making informed decisions based on the information we receive. I'm not going to go off what you're telling me or what he's telling me. I'll read for myself and come to an informed decision.
Wow. You're an economist. I hope studied in Kenya. Lived in Kenya.
Yes.
So you've done this report. Tell us about it. Cost of delay, koso, all that stuff. So
thank you so much.
How you sat down, you actually decided the only thing we can research is this. Give us the story.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate the sentiments that Edith brings on. You know, the vibes out there. And each one of us has a right to those vibes. So this is very important, actually.
The vibes are off.
This is really important. And I like the way you started that you don't want it. And then you came to a point and saying, oh, if you tell me, I will read about it. I will actually think about it. And then that conversation is what we want. Coming back now to the study. And I'm an economist, born and brought up in Kenya, studied economics at Egerton University, went to the University of Pretoria, and the University of Bonn in Germany. So all that blending economics from all over the world. And we do many things, but one of the things that is important that we do is that all these technologies come. Many researchers in the labs develop technologies. But the question we as economists ask is, do these technologies make sense from economic perspective? Because at the end of the day, it ends up in the pocket of the farmer. It's the money. We ask ourselves, does it make sense from social perspective? You know, people like Edith, who have many choices to eat. She told us about the RKC experience. All those varieties of foods we have there, you have a right to those choices. But the question is, the new technologies that are coming, how are they going to interfere with what you're already doing now? How are they going to help you to have better choices? And therefore, we come in now as economists to tell the scientists all these perspectives. So coming down to these studies, the study we are talking about here, we know maize is an important crop. You said you don't like ugali so much, but I know people in Western Kenya, really that thing is, you eat it in the morning, in the evening. And so maize is still a very important crop to has. Actually, an average Kenyan eats 100 kilograms of maize every year.
A year?
Yes, that's not a small number.
One person.
Yes, one single person.
100 kgs.
Yes. Okay. Now you know how important this crop is. If you compare with our neighbors, like in Uganda, they eat only 30 kgs. You go to Ethiopia, only 50 kgs. You go to Tanzania, only 70. So in Kenya, maize is an important. So researchers talk to farmers. And one of the issues that farmers are dealing with here in Kenya, maize farmers, and you know, this is Nekesa in Busia, this is Kamene in Machakos, this is Kimutai, you know, those are the people who grow maize. So talking to them, we ask them, so what issues are you dealing with? And they'll tell you, one thing is drought, you know?
Yeah, climate change.
Climate change has brought a lot of issues, and rains are not coming on time as they used to be. They are not as much as they used to be. So, but we have our farmer here in Western Kenya who needs to continue producing maize, and drought comes up as one of the issues. Even when they look up in the heavens and rains come, there's another challenge: the pests. You know, there are two notorious pests that I know. The maize stalk borer and the fall armyworm. And these can reduce yields. Even when you have very good rains, they can reduce your yields by 20 to 30%.
Okay. Hold on there. And then
Yes.
there is this disease, aflatoxin. Is it still in the same vein, or those are...
Well, aflatoxin is a post-harvest issue.
Okay.
Yeah, it affects maize after you have harvested.
Okay.
But it is also dangerous.
Okay.
So, yeah. So now, asking this farmer also, they say, we are dealing with these pests. Now, the question was for scientists, what can we do to help our farmers to be able to deal with these issues? And therefore comes the GMO maize technology you're talking about. So researchers sat in the lab, they asked, what can we do to solve this problem?
They started playing God.
They did many things, but one of the things they did, and we have very wonderful professors and scientists in this country, and they said, let us just take a simple bacteria. When you hear BT, it is a simple bacteria which exists in the soil, actually. We eat it every day. When you get to your kales, your spinach, they have some bit of soil, right? Yeah. You wash, but you don't wash everything. That BT is all over. And they said, okay, through research, it was discovered that this small gene, when you put it in maize, it can fight for itself. It doesn't need to be affected by the stem borer or the flammable. And therefore, the technology came. But that's not enough. You ask yourself, therefore, is this technology good from economic perspective and also from social perspective? And that's where we as economists come in. So we did the study. And just like any decision, we make many decisions. We are at the start of the year. I know all of us have made our New Year resolutions. If you delay implementing that resolution by even a day or a week, we economists can come and tell you what is the monetary value you are losing by that procrastination. The English people have a name for that. It's called procrastination.
Correct.
So if you procrastinate, you delay implementing a decision, of course, we can come in as economists and try to value that delay and how much does it cost to the common person. And that is the study we are talking about.
The cost of delay report.
Yes.
So what did you uncover? I know we've had the GMO the technology from 1994.
Yes.
To now. So did you backdate it? So unpack the report. And who are these guys who sat and just decided they want to know the cost of delay? Why not the cost of the sun?
Yeah, you ask a very important question because any study that is done, there must be a basis. We could do so many things. But the question we always ask ourselves as researchers, what will the world miss if we don't do this research? Okay? So now coming to the technology you're talking about, we have had GM technologies for many years, of course. Here in Kenya, since the 90s, we started now getting into the research and so on and so on. By 2020, or even earlier than that, 1994, 1995, 2005, we had solutions that were already in place. And we ask ourselves now, from the time when these technologies were ready, and now we started arguing, should we commercialize, should we not?
We is who?
As Kenyans, of course.
Okay.
As Kenyans.
Just to be sure.
We are talking about Edith, Charlo, Caroline.
You see, us, we didn't argue as Kenyans. As Kenyans, we already said no. You are trying to force us. But it's okay. I'm waiting to hear your point. I'm very humble.
Yes.
Let me let you land.
I'm coming.
Let me let you land.
I'm coming.
Okay.
So now we had 3 key technologies. I talked about the BT maize, which was ready since 2005 and so on and so on. Then there was BT cotton, which was also ready. Then the recent one is potato blight resistant potato. I'm sure you love chips.
Don't sway me. Continue. You continue with your point.
At least I do. We love chips as a country. Actually, on average, we eat about 25 kg of chips, each one of us.
Per year.
Now, per year. Now, these 3 technologies were ready. In terms of maize technology, farmers who have been suffering losses as a result of the stem borer I'm talking about, as a result of drought, as a result of the fall armyworm, would have benefited if they adopted this technology, which would solve their issue. Actually, number 1, it would increase their yield. Number 2, because what we do now with fall armyworm, we spray chemicals.
Yeah.
It would reduce the number of sprays that we have. So that technology was ready. In terms of cotton bollworm is a very serious pest that affects cotton. And actually, cotton farmers lose 50% of their yields. And if you recall, we had a very vibrant textile industry in this country.
Yeah.
It is now gone.
Yeah.
because we cannot produce enough materials for the factories. It's because of this pest, of course, among other issues. The issue of potato. Potato is a very important crop, especially for, what from Nyandarua, that region. But there's a disease which is very terrible. It's called late blight. Once it visits your farm, you lose 100%. 100%. Now, coming to your question now, and now landing on the issue, we looked at when this technology were ready and 2023, between that time and 2023, and we just said, okay, let's do this study for 5 years. Let's ask ourselves, the delay for 5 years, how much has it costed us as a country?
Okay.
And that's where we come now to the 20.1 billion. That's the amount that we have lost. That's the amount had we invested.
Is this in USD or is this in Kenya shillings?
Kenya shillings.
20.1 billion.
Kenya shillings is the amount of the loss that we have. This delay in adopting these technologies has cost us as a country.
In 5 years?
In 5 years alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask you another question?
Please, go ahead.
Do you know how much money Kenya as a country spends to treat cancer every year?
Yes, I do.
How much?
It's in the trillions.
15 billion per year. So even that your 20 billion per 5 years is light work.
Yeah.
But there's some suspicion that GMO and GMO products are carcinogenic. Now, is everything about money? Will we now commercialize our health and put ourselves at risk because of money? Because of what? 20 billion. How much, if I ask you now, how much is your health worth? Is it worth 20 billion?
No.
How much is it worth?
You cannot value it.
You can't value it. So
Yes.
what you're trying to do is to put a value on on the investment of these companies, on the investment of whatever, the players. I don't want to get into neocolonialism because that's another discussion. And to say to us, you see, if we had implemented this technology, we would be 20 billion richer, right? But the fact is it really us who would be richer, or is it the manufacturers of these things that would be richer? Is it really Kenyans who are losing out? Because as you have said, we're still consuming our 100 kg. Nothing has happened. Can you imagine? Nothing has happened. We are still moving. So what do you want us to do? You want us to now consume 125 kg each? We're okay. We've not implemented the technology and we are fine. I understand the point at which you're saying it helps us to have more drought-resistant crops. It helps us to have crops that are more adapted to different, climates. It helps us to have crops that are adapted to pests. But you know what? That's nature. It happens. And we should just let nature take its course.
Yeah.
So
we should.
15 billion in 1 year versus 20 billion over 5 years. Help me do the math.
Yeah. You raised 3 important points there.
Okay.
And that's why I want to address them one by one.
Okay.
Let's start from the carcinogenic element. And I'm an economist, but I also read a lot about research around GM and so on and so on and so on. And there's this notion around cancer and GM. I want to ask you a simple question. Kenya has never adopted any GM crop, right? Do we have cancer issues in Kenya?
Many.
So where are they coming from? Because we are not eating GM. So that tells you cancer cannot just be attributed to GM. There are many causes of cancer. Agreed. So there's something in economics we normally do. When we are doing the analysis, there's something called attribution. So the 15 billion you say we use in treating cancer every year in Kenya, we cannot say that all that 15 is linked to GM. Actually, there are studies that show that you cannot link GM to cancer.
So that's a misconception.
Yeah. It's a misconception.
Yes,
and we must deal with misconceptions. Now, you said we are eating 100 kilograms every year of maize. We are not going to eat 125. But the population in 1980 in Kenya, do you know how much it was? It was perhaps 10 million people. How many are we now?
50.
50. So we are not increasing per capita consumption, but what we are increasing is the volume that we are eating because we are feeding more people.
More people.
Ask yourself, where does this 100 kilograms that we eat come from? That's where now the conversation should be. We import almost 60% of the maize that we eat, among other food products. Now, that is where we are saying now, if we have a technology that can help us to increase our production and make ourselves self-sufficient, okay, can't we save these 20 billion and put it now in healthcare, put it in education, put it in many other sectors that need money so much? But if we are not able to feed ourselves right now, and we are saying, let us stop technologies from coming to us, what are we saying? We are saying we are ready to continue being slaves of the people whom we buy the food from.
They have to be in business. What do you want them to do?
We also have to be in business. Why must we continue being the ones who are buying? And there's one thing they say: if food self-sufficiency is a moral issue, it's
A
also
dignity issue.
dignity
dignity
issue.
issue.
Yeah.
Agreed. I have another question. If GM is so good, let's say there's 5 major countries. Let's even start with the United States.
Yes.
That is a big adopter of GM. But they are now, more people, even in that country, want to reduce their intake of GM food. Actually, the organic
Movement.
market and movement is going up. More people want to eat food that is not genetically modified. They want to eat food that grows, that faces the elements, that is natural. What would you say? Those countries that are early adopters, they're trying to get to where we are now. And us, someone has tried something, they've tried, now they say, no, I think I want to go back to how it was. And now that's when we want to start. Even the big boys are coming out of the game. That's when you want us to enter the game.
Let me say this, Edith.
What's not?
Yeah. Let me say this. In any society, we have diversity of people. Okay.
Okay.
And the societies that you mentioned in the US, Europe, Kenya, we have diversity as well. But we must look at the numbers. Okay. Yes, there are people who decide that we want to go organic, and that is okay. In my earlier years, actually, I did a lot of research on organic farming and organic markets and so on and so on. But you'll be surprised that the percentage, the share of organic market vis-a-vis conventional is very, very minimal. That is a fact. You can check the facts. So what we normally do, and what most people do, is to go and look at just one storyline, and they want to hold into that. Yes, we know in Europe, in the US, there are people who want to go organic. There are people who want to go natural. But what percentage are you talking about? In the same countries you're talking about, they do a lot of GM large-scale production and export a lot of that.
I agree. I agree. But you see, what happens is, because of the GM crops and the mass production, GM foods or conventional foods become cheaper. But because organic is so rare and it's so hard to do, it takes time. Organic foods become more expensive.
Yes.
And now what happens is, people who are well-to-do, wealthy, are the ones with access to organic foods, organic, everything. And it's agreed, generally, that that's better for you. Now, it's true that GM consumption is still high, but it's because of cost. And what we are scared of is, you come into the market, we have BT maize, it becomes cheaper, and now the organic stuff we eat now becomes expensive. It becomes hard to find. It's true, it's a dignity issue. But why, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I do.
We want to now make organic food more expensive, and what are we doing? We're putting money into the pockets of the big corporations that are selling these things.
Just to add, Daktari,
Yes.
I sense fear in her prosecution of the point.
Yeah.
Fearing organic will do this, fearing this and fear. Fear is a real issue, and it's one of the strongest human emotions.
Yeah,
Yes.
we are fearful.
You're an economist. There's the number and there's the feeling.
Yes.
Can you marry the two so that we know this
know.
number, this 20 billion and fear? Because fear is a very powerful emotion, and maybe we are fearing nothing.
You are right, Caroline. I think this what we call the fear of the unknown. And that's what we must deal with. There's something you mentioned about organic and that it is only for the rich and so on and so on. I want to
In
take you
those
back to
societies.
Kisii. I want to take you back to Kisii. Those bananas you talked about. Did you see anybody spraying them with anything?
No,
Did you see anybody applying fertilizer on them?
of course.
Maybe manure,
Yes.
animal manure.
Yes.
Do you know they are organic?
Yes.
Who is eating those bananas? Not the rich. So that is another myth. We always think that,
No, it's true. Those bananas are not being eaten by the rich because, I mean, smallholder farmers are the ones growing those bananas.
yes,
Right?
and they're organic.
And they're organic.
Yes.
But you see, if we bring GM here and there's another strain of banana that does really well with, low attention, yani you don't have to ufai kushinda hapo, and it's cheaper, or the farmer will start moving away from that and start doing the easier thing. Nani anataka kuchoka? No one wants to get tired. So what will happen is the cost of that organic banana we've just discussed will go up because the market will be flooded with BT alternatives that are pest resistant, drought resistant, higher yield. And what happens when you have higher yield? You have a lot of supply. So the cost goes down. That's my economics.
Yes, I understand. And your economics is right.
Yes,
it's right economics.
economics.
The issue of fear and costs. And I think your last point is also around the costs and how we balance out between the cost of the conventionals, the GM and so on, organic and so on. Do you know, one of the things that every country should strive to do is to bring down the cost of food.
Agreed.
Okay? And there are many ways of doing that. Actually, there's always the misconception that the GM is the only tool that you can use to bring the cost of food down. Not necessarily. We have many conventional solutions.
Okay.
And we have even our conventional maize varieties. Just this morning, I received a message from a farmer who asked me about that seed and I referred them. And now they're sending me testimonials that even with just one rain, their maize is looking amazing and they're going to harvest.
But that's hybrid, not
Hybrid, yeah.
Because
hybrid maize.
Okay.
I just want to bring the element of there are many other tools that we use to bring down the cost of food.
Those are the tools we want to use. You see those tools you are saying? Those are the tools we want to use.
Yes.
We don't want GM. Just what you should be telling us is just because you said you don't want GM. You know the way you can say there are 5 options. You said you don't want option 1. Can we look at the other 4? We've already said we don't want option 1. You are like, let me tell you more about option 1. We've said no, let's go to the other tools and resources.
Good thinking. Actually, what we do, we don't come, like when you go to a garage to repair your car, they don't just use one spanner for everything. They bring something they call a toolbox.
A toolbox.
In that toolbox, there will be a spanner, a screwdriver, a spanner number 20, 30. The reason we do that is, and the same thing is applying to technology. We don't come to farmers with just one bullet and say, this is the silver bullet that solves all your problems. You bring a toolbox. In that toolbox will be conventional technologies like the drought-tolerant maize I talked about, will be BT maize, will be high-yielding rice varieties, will be high-yielding cassava, will be a mechanization solution. And then we leave people like Edith to make a choice from that toolbox and say, okay, for my issues, this is what I think is good for me. And you know what we always do, and I like reading the good book. At one point, God told man that I put before you life and death. Choose to make a choice. Wait a minute.
Do you see? You
To
want
make
to
a
scare
choice.
me?
Anyway, back
No,
to
let me get back to
intimidating me.
I'm heading somewhere, Caroline. Make a choice. So that's what we do. We bring the options. But then there's something that we have seen. People.
Life and death. So life is GM and then death
No.
is
That was an example. One thing we have seen is that people often say a lot that, why are you forcing this one solution? That's not what scientists are doing. Scientists are bringing options to the table and telling, as economists, we come and tell you, you can choose your traditional variety. We have our traditional maize varieties. If you go to Nyanza, there will be something called Nyamula. It's a maize variety, yes, but it will give you 1 bag per acre. We go to Ukambani. There's something called Katumani. It will give you 2 bags per acre. And I can go on and on and on. But then we tell you, okay, do you want to continue growing your Katumani? Get 1 bag per acre, but you have 20 people to feed in your family.
It becomes tricky.
It is tricky. So we tell you, okay, there is this. There is this other variety. There's GM. And these are the payoffs associated with each of them. Make your choice.
Okay. So what you're trying to do here is you're trying to present GM as an option on the table.
Exactly.
But what us we've done is that we're not even letting it be an option in Kenya.
No.
We're removing that one tool completely out of the toolbox instead of considering all tools.
Yeah,
that's what
because
you're
of
saying.
fear and all
Because
these
of fear
things.
and misconceptions and all those things.
Yeah, and that's why we say, and let's also tackle this issue of fear. Where does it come from, for example? Why do you fear so much? Let me actually ask you, Edith. What's the source of your fear?
I don't want to get cancer.
Yeah, it's actually about life and death.
It's
like
life
you
and
said.
death.
Yeah.
Like you said.
You don't want to get cancer?
I don't want to get cancer. I don't want to eat. First of all, GM food tastes funny. Like,
Have you ever eaten GM food?
of course.
Where?
In Europe, in the US, it's like eating cardboard. It's like you're eating something. It has no taste. It's flat.
Okay.
And the other thing is, health. That's the concern. Health. You're talking about dignity in food security, and I'm advocating for dignity in health. I just don't believe that it's a healthy thing. Maybe it's an irrational fear based off of misinformation and lack of knowledge. But what is prevalent amongst all Kenyans about this GM conversation is fear.
Fear.
It's just fear. And even when you watch the documentaries and stuff, it's people with cancer, people who are dying, and you're like, no. And even there, when you start looking at those countries that have it, those people, they don't look okay. They're not okay. They don't look fine.
Yet they want to go there. How many people are leaving Kenya to go there?
Yeah.
So they're not there to eat GM. But I think the other thing we need to center this conversation is because, I can sit here on a high horse as a person from a phone and a laptop with my fancy office job and talk about all these things. But what about the smallholder farmer? What is their opinion of the matter? Because, when you're there and you farmed and you get 2 bags per acre or a bag per acre, I mean, it's devastating.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
After
effort.
3 months, I
It's a
can
lot of
imagine.
time.
And we have a lot of peasant farmers. You're an economist. You have the numbers.
Yeah. So I want us to focus on that element and maybe talk about your experience with the farmers. Tell me more about it. What are they saying?
Their
What's
lived experience. What the report found out, because you went to Mulienda ground.
Yes.
Ground inasema nini?
Ground inasema hivi. Starting with that smallholder farmer, who is at the core of production. And we have close to that 3 million, smallholder farmers. They're very small across the region. And all these farmers are struggling with the issues we talked about. They are struggling with the pests and so on and so on and so on. And I've worked with farmers a lot, not just in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, across the 23 countries where AATF works. And they send a very simple message. Can you give us the solutions to our problems? Okay? Let me give an example with Nigeria, where we have commercialized BT maize and also BT cowpea. The cowpea farmers were losing close to 80% of their yield to a small pest called Maruka. And there was no solution to that. The only solution was pesticides, and they would spray almost 10 times before the end of the season. What this means is that they're using their money to buy pesticides. They're exposing themselves to the pesticides, and so on and so on. With this solution, they went at the research level, and we do something called seeing is believing. And now we are doing something called eating is believing. And I want to take you one day to one of the places where we have GM maize.
Take me to Nigeria.
Yes, I'll take you to Nigeria. We have GM maize there. And I'll tell you, I'll not tell you about, this is ugali from BT maize. This is ugali from conventional.
No, we'll carry unga from here. My unga, the one that
Yes.
From
Yeah.
Nyamira.
From Nyamira. We cook blind.
Yes.
I taste. I'm telling you, I can taste the genetic. I'll say it's this one.
I can,
We need
I
to do
can
that
assure you
experiment.
this. You will eat that, and I will ask you, which one now is the Nyamira unga? Which one is
We
Nyamira?
need to do that experiment.
Yes. So what I'm saying is, the misconceptions about taste and all that. Some people say, oh, when they say a big orange, I've seen this a lot of times.
Yeah.
Oh, this orange must be GM because yes, it's big,
Size, yeah.
and so on and so on. So now the farmers, when we were doing the research, we kept on taking them to the fields to see this, and also now to test, and they would be like, I'm seeing this technology. I know what I'm experiencing in my farm. Where can't I get this technology? And then we used to tell them, well, wait for your government first to clear it. So it is the farmers now who started telling the government, why are you not giving us this technology? And that works miracles. Seeing is believing, testing is believing, and the farmers themselves demanding. And I can tell you for free, farmers are demanding for these technologies.
I agree, honestly. And
Yeah.
based off of what you've said, a lot of youth, people my age and stuff, they don't enter farming because it's very difficult.
Yes.
It's poorly paying.
Poorly paying.
Yes.
It's a hard job. So I think that by even maybe, I'm not siding with you, but
Yet.
maybe if we implement some of these technologies,
Yes.
it will make farming a little bit more attractive because the average age of the smallholder farmer or farmers right now is 40s, 50s,
60 actually.
Yeah.
So that even jeopardizes our food security more because
Yeah.
when those farmers are not there, like,
Yeah.
what happens?
It's a true thing that we must deal with. And now we get the conversation of now, why are we as a society preventing this technology from reaching our farmers? We have seen it is beneficial. We know a lot of the fear that you have is based on conspiracy theories, is based on misinformation, hearsay. I listen to people in press and I laugh because you hear someone saying, oh, when you eat GM, you grow horns. Where is that coming from?
And body parts are the
Yeah,
front.
some body parts. Where does that come from? And
Where does
there
that
must,
come from?
yeah, where does that come from? Do you know?
We've seen these things.
You've seen a
Have you
man
ever come
growing
to
horns.
Kenya? Have you ever come to Kisii where you can see anything there?
I've come to Kisii and I've seen many things.
Are you saying Kisii is the special? But yet there's no GM.
Yes.
Yet
no
she has
GM.
seen things.
And you have seen things.
Maybe must
No,
be something else.
I understand, but you know what? What I'm actually learning here is it's really easy to sit down in your lofty job in the office and to type we don't want GM because I don't
Exactly.
know the experience of the smallholder farmer
Yes.
on the ground, and I don't know what that means for them financially.
Yeah.
So if you can try to tell me about okay, what will this have? Like if we implement these solutions, what impact will it have on the smallholder farmer?
Let me take an example with maize.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the moment, the average yield for a maize farmer is like 1 ton per hectare. Okay, let me put it in bags. An average farmer would get like 2 90 kg bags per acre.
2.
Just 2.
Like
With the-
2.
Yeah, 2. And that person has toiled, they have bought seed, they have weeded, they have, they work there every
So
day.
yani ugali for only one person per year.
Na huyo mtu akona watoto 6. Just imagine, huh?
Those 2 bags kumenyesha.
Kumenyesha, but there are many factors,
Yeah.
Kumenyesha ndio, lakini mbegu alipanda ile traditional, okay? The potential, the genetic potential ya hiyo mbegu, hata uweke
low
mbolea
yield.
ufanye nini, haiko.
Yeah.
Hiyo mahindi imetembelewa na fall armyworm.
Okay.
So fall armyworm runs with about 1 bag, stem borer and so on and so on.
Okay. So
Now,
2
there are
bags.
2
bags. Now, with the technology, what we have seen is that the technology has the potential to give you up to 6 tons. And I've done a study in
let's do it
Nigeria.
Bags.
Yeah, now I'm coming to the bags. That translates to 30 bags
Okay.
per acre.
So 2 bags to 30
2
bags.
bags to 30 bags. Now, that means this farmer who has the better technology is getting an additional 18 bags. Okay, there's something we call all things held constant. The same weeding, the same seed, the same fertilizer, the same rain.
It's actually an additional 28 bags.
Times 4,000 shillings. That is the average price of a bag of maize now. The price we got last week from NCPB.
Yeah.
So 28, let's say 30 bags times 4,000.
Yes.
That's 120,000.
Exactly.
Versus 2 bags times 4,000. That's 8,000.
So this person has an additional 100,000 in their pocket.
Yeah.
That's the smallholder farmer we are talking about.
Who has only 1 hectare?
Who has only 1 hectare. Now, and the average some would have more
2,
than
3, 4,
more
5.
than 1, and now that is the economic potential that we bring to our smallholder farmers, and that is empowerment. With the 100,000 extra just from 1 hectare, farmers can live lavish lives just like anybody else. But we are preventing these technologies from getting to them. These are solutions that can make them even more powerful. And you see, the math is this. The moment you increase the yield, you help the farmer to produce enough for their family and have more even for selling. And that is where now as a society, if you multiply this now times the 20 million farmers you have surplus production. We export. The dollars now start coming. Now we just take away our dollars. And that's why we have issues, because we must buy food from Mexico, other countries, importing. But we need to produce our own food.
Yeah, just also to think, the technology is good, but the bigger conversation also that I see, the government has to get involved in the value chain. I talked about aflatoxin.
Yes.
It's a big issue in North Rift, where I come from. So yes, the technology is good, and that's a bigger conversation which you economists and scientists must have, so that people like Edith get into the farming business, even as a side hustle. She does her maize farming. She gets her 30 bags times 4,000. The question is, where is the market? Are we adding value? I think also those are the conversations we need to have. It's good to have 30 bags times 100, 3,000.
Yes.
But sometimes, where do you sell this? With these cartels. Me, I grow potatoes. I have a middleman who comes to my farm here in Limuru, buying at a very low price. I've invested in getting an expert to give me the hybrid seed. But my frustration is, after I've had a good harvest, what happens?
Wonderful.
That's a good conversation to have, because me, I'm convinced about that technology.
Yes.
I am. But then it's all games and whistles and bells. So we have produced 50 trillion bags. Do you think we can cope with that here in Kenya? I know we are going to Singapore.
At least you're going to eat that money that he has talked about in your short life. If cancer doesn't kill you, you'll get 100,000, like 6 times done.
That's an
You
important.
died of cancer. Then you use that money to treat yourself your cancer. Umepata. That's why you really wonder, was that money that important?
Brilliant question, Caroline. And let me talk about what I do. When I'm not doing the course of delay study at ATF, what do I do? And my job is around value chain support, because you raise a very important question. It's not just about more production. It's about, after the production, then what do you do? I will dwell on 2 things. I could talk a lot about that, because that's what I do on a daily basis. But one of the things that we do is what we call value chain linkages. The smallholder farmer is at the bottom there. We have the consumer seated here in this posh studio. But the question is, how do you make sure that smallholder farmer benefits from their sweat, and the consumer here does not pay too much because of what is happening in between the farmer and the consumer? So that we do a lot of that linkages to try to see how we are people we call brokers in street language, and we call them an unnecessary evil. Necessary evil in the sense that you need them, but they can also bring a lot of cost into the whole chain. So we do a lot of linkages, direct marketing approaches, and so on and so on. The other thing we do, and that's very close to my my heart. Actually, when you are looking for me in December, I was in Nigeria, and one of the things we are doing there is value addition. We don't just emphasize on production, we emphasize also on value addition. Yes, in Nigeria, what we did, we helped farmers to increase their cassava production from 9 metric tons per hectare to 30. So the question was, therefore, what do we do with this additional? It's the same thing I was talking about maize. When you have additional 28 bags, what do you do with these bags? You have already taken 10 for your family. Yep. Now you have a surplus. What do you do with them? So what we are doing in Nigeria, we have installed a facility process the cassava into flour. And we don't stop there.
That's the GM cassava.
No, that's just conventional cassava.
Okay.
We don't stop there. We go beyond that. And I know in Kenya we are very limited in terms of the food varieties we eat. Go to Nigeria and you'll know what variety is. You are talking about Kisii. You have not seen anything.
Yes,
so what
true.
we are doing is also to expand the things that you can make from your raw material. Maize, for example. I know in Kenya, if you are not boiling maize, you're not eating ugali or githeri, you are roasting it. 4. Go to Mexico. You'll find almost 20 recipes from maize. So what we are doing also is to help people, small business people, you're talking about side hustle, to now get into agricultural value addition, make many more products from what we have. And that, of course, grows the market. It grows the demand. And we are able to get more money from that.
I understand. So let's now link it back.
Yes.
So this is now the cost of delay. There are all these industries that we are not opening because we are not doing the GM. The yields are low, Yes. So there's a whole, ecosystem that is currently not existing because of our lack of willingness
To adopt
this technology.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, why can't you people emphasize the organic markets that you nazo?
We are emphasizing all the markets. That's the point we need to get to. We are not bringing one bullet shoots everything because that does not exist anywhere in the world. The organics will exist, and the people who want to eat that, they will eat. But what we are saying is, don't just say because I'm an organic enthusiast, I want to make everybody else in Kenya an organic enthusiast. You cannot say I'm a GM enthusiast and I want everybody to eat GM. No. There's this thing they say, live and let live. Okay? Do what you feel is good for you and also allow other people who want that technology to do it. But what have we done? We say, I don't want GM. And therefore, nobody else in this Kenya should eat GM. So I go to court and I say, okay, I want to have this ban and I want to have all this. I mean, as a society, we need to have that serious conversation. Can't we give people options and allow people to, adopt these things without closing the door for one person just because you feel this? And some of these things are, spiritual.
Yeah.
Do you know some people don't want GM because they say it is spiritual? They say, why are you creating things? It's only
you're
God.
God.
Yeah, it's only God who's supposed to. That's a religious and spiritual. So why should I let my spiritual beliefs, hold a process that everybody should benefit from? That is the conversation we need to get into.
I mean, I can't say I am fully convinced about the technology itself, but I'm convinced about the numbers.
Yes.
Like the way you've explained it, if we produce more, that means that there's more money in the smallholder farmer's pocket. And, it has effects in the community, for education, for all those things. That I will agree with. I will agree with the numbers.
Thank you.
I will not agree with the technology. But the numbers, you have the numbers. It's okay. That's what I've left for you.
For me, Daktari,
Yes.
I must say, I must comment, we have a lot of scientists in Kenya who are doing amazing work.
Yes.
Over 10 years of research. My concern is we have very good plans, things on paper. This report, back to the report, is it just going to be another report? Then another 5 years, we come here, cost of delay now is 100 billion. So what next? You've done the research. I'm sure you've earned good money traveling. So what next? We have this beautiful report. Actually, the numbers are there. The farmers have spoken about the issues. We now know the need to empower the ecosystem. Yep. I'm sure the government knows.
Yep.
So what next? We have a beautiful, beautiful report. What next? What do we do with it? After we leave here, will it add more unga to my plate? Yeah. Abu now explain to us.
One thing they say is that numbers don't lie. And it was important for us to get these numbers because they bring some realities on the ground.
Even the numbers have moved.
Yeah,
I don't want to lie.
The numbers bring realities because it's not enough to just talk about technology. What does it mean to the Nasimiu? What does it mean to Nkirote in Meru? the numbers come to help us to make informed decisions, because this conversation is not just about farmers. It's about farmers, agro dealers, researchers, policymakers, and everybody. So that we lay the numbers on the table and say, look, as a society, this is what we are losing. This is what we are missing. And perhaps with that kind of advocacy and honest conversation, as a society, we are going to make decisions on how we want to move, to bring technologies. As I finish this, I want to just give an example. Fear is something that we have always had. When computers came, I was still of age. Well, when we had now that serious adopting of computers. And one of the things that people used to say was that this thing is coming to take my job. And people resisted computers.
Like AI.
Yes.
At least people in my profession fear.
They fear AI.
The journalists.
So with computers, we resisted because we were saying it's coming to take my job. Right now, computers are like everything something you must have because it is making you do your job better. Mobile phones came, and I recall during those days with the first mobile phones, and they are saying, no, don't put that thing close to your ears. It will cause cancer. And some people are selling things they were saying, if you put anti-cancer things.
People made money.
Look, they made money out of fear. When people fear, you can make a lot of money from fear. And people now, anybody, the mobile phone has become your companion. Now, fear is something that as human beings, we have and we should have. But we need to think beyond
that fear. Now, you can't tell me a computer, something I'm typing, and food I'm putting in my mouth, they are not comparable at all. But I understand your point. What I will say as we close is I understand the numbers. It's well and good. But what can you do as scientists and as economists and stuff to make sure that we don't feel like it's an agenda being pushed?
Yeah.
And we must now do it. Present it as one tool in the toolbox, not as the only tool in the toolbox. Yes. That's what I would say. And as much as I'll just repeat again, as much as I've not agreed with the technology, I understand that my opinions are coming from a privileged, position.
Yeah. Your experience,
my experience. Yeah. I am a keyboard warrior, but I do not know, especially like the smallholder farmers, what they go through. So it's the smallholder farmer. That is why I have accepted your argument for today.
Yes. So the question is...
Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. This needs a handshake.
Broad-based.
One thing that we must continue doing is awareness. Okay?
Yeah.
Building awareness among our society, the privileged ones, the smallholder farmers, the policy decision makers, we must continue creating awareness. Because most of the things that we are discussing, they come from the other part, the uninformed part. And as human beings, one thing we don't do, and they say that if you want to hide something from an African, put it in a book. We don't read. If you hide something in a book, chances are that you'll find it there 1 year from today. Nobody touches.
Test me.
I'll test you on that. But it is a reality that we don't read. So it's not just about us coming and telling you this thing is good, but you have to also read and make decisions from an informed perspective.
That report is very good.
Yes.
And I think that because people the youth are keen to learn more things.
Yes.
The youth are keen to understand the technologies, understand their uses, and adopt. Youth want to be farmers. Youth want to enter
make
that
money.
space and make money. But it's just so difficult now. We don't see a pathway. But when I read the report, I started seeing how it would encourage food security and dignity, which is the most important thing here. Food security and dignity. Yes. So I will give you this one. Maybe Caroline can say something.
I think I've learned quite a bit, and I'll ask each of you to just say what your takeaway is, including Daktari. But for me, I love money. So I'm very keen. I'm an early adopter, so I'm very keen. And I would really want to see where this technology can take us to. The issue of food as a dignity issue is, I mean, when somebody on the street asks you, give me 50 bob to buy unga, I think we are beyond that as Kenyans, considering the amount of land we have, the push for us to avoid rain-fed agriculture, for us to use irrigation. I think we need now to speak about different problems.
Yeah.
The problems, ya chakula, I don't think it's something we need to speak about. So this cost of delay is quite an issue, and I hope we can continue talking about it. We are talking about IPOs in this country. We are talking about many things, and I'm happy we are talking about cost of living. We are informed. And so I thank you for so much. It's nice to have an economist who works with scientists. Keep the information flowing. Edith, what is your takeaway? And then I'll let Dr. Chalo end with his takeaway, because I'm sure we have educated you.
Yes.
Nimemwambia wache kufosi. Si mas.
Kwanza amefanya math in a math.
Si lazima wache kutuforce. I think for me, my takeaway is I actually read the report in preparation of coming here. And what I would say to the young people who are watching this report is, who are watching this podcast, is go read the report. Understand this cost of delay. Put it in your mind, and then make an informed decision based on that. I think that GM, as much as I don't agree with it from an ethical standpoint, we cannot make the decision for everyone, including smallholder farmers who we have no insight into their lived experience. What we can do is, it can be one of the tools in the toolbox.
Yeah.
And I would encourage every young person to go and read the report, and then they look for me. We start a farming venture. We try the GM this side and the organic this side. We see which one we'll pick. But I'm very convinced with the numbers.
Yeah.
Good job for today. But don't tell Daktari from the previous episode that you won. He'll be jealous.
Thank you so much, Caroline and Edith. One of the things that I'm happy about today is that I've managed to have Edith convinced about the numbers. The numbers. And I'm sure with a little bit more of engagement, if I take her to Nigeria and she tastes that ugali and realizes it tastes the same as the Kehanja ugali, I'm sure now about the technology will convince. And we have many more people like Edith in this country. What I want to say as a parting shot is that this conversation is about food. This conversation is about the livelihoods of our smallholder farmers. As we engage in these conversations, let us make sure that we engage in an honest conversation, knowing what is at stake, especially for our smallholder farmers, knowing what our smallholder farmers are going through. And let us have an honest conversation on how can we make the lives of the smallholder farmers better. You said you love money. We all do. It's about having this smallholder farmer enjoying their livelihoods. It is not good in this century to have our farmers still languishing in poverty. In other communities, like in the US, we talk about US, Europe, farmers are some of the richest people. Can't we as a society reach that point where we are making farmers the richest in society? They should not just be looking at nice cars passing in the villages when we researchers or other people go there. They should also own those cars. It's about helping our farmers to benefit from technology. And we believe that technologies can bring prosperity to our farmers. So let us join hands. Let us bring these technologies so that our farmers can benefit.
I think the next episode will be in Nigeria.
Yes, where we'll be eating ugali.
But you know what? I'm willing to go on the journey. I'm willing to listen.
Yes.
And by the end of this whole series, I'll now come with my points, like my pros, my cons, the misconceptions that I think were addressed.
Yes.
Because I actually came into this really apprehensive, but my mind is... But guys, I'm still with you. I'm still continuing to ask the tough questions.
We love the tough questions because they are the ones that will help us to bring the solutions and even to make you and many other people understand about these things and the technologies.
There you have it. That has been the food conversation, hot conversations, hot debates. And today we were talking about the cost of delay, the numbers. where some people are somehow convinced, others are fully convinced. See you in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.